I'd rather spend the money on you than on games I will never play. I get far more entertainment from watching you than from buying games. I know I am not the one you were talking to, but giving you money is spending money on myself. And I'm sure it's the same for many others. That is such an incredibly kind thing to say, Marissa. Thank you so much. That is honestly so, so lovely. And Bilal, it's horror movie time for me, Aavak. Have a good stream. Oh, and thank you very much for the list of horror movies, Bilal. I will chew through those with Lady Sheelab. We are constantly looking for new horror movies. And that is a general invitation to all the Dapplings who happen to like horror movie fare. If you have a suggestion, please leave it on the Dapper Discord, because Lady Sheelab and I are kind of running out. Lady Sheelab more than me, because for a time, Lady Sheelab couldn't do anything but watch programs while she was recovering, and watched more or less all of Netflix. Me, there's still quite a few horror movies on Netflix that I haven't seen yet, but yeah, we're constantly looking for new ones. Right, okay, so with all of that done, let's go and check in on this. I think we're probably at a point now where we can start isolating this properly. Yeah, let's not go all the way down. Let's just wall it off there. I will do a little bit of digging just to get through around here, but that should be fine. We can get rid of that. All the way down and all the way across. We're going to need automation. Going to want a hydro sensor. Doesn't really matter where all of this goes, but we'll put the hydro sensor on the upper level. We'll probably have the pump right in the middle here, I'm thinking. Or I could have it on the side. Considering I'm only gonna turn the pump on when there's a lot of oil in there. I may as well just have it on the side. It's no big issue one way or t'other. New principles available. Well, actually, no. We're still going to hold on to those, because a couple of them, they might be worth me taking, actually. So we'll see where that goes. As for this system, it's doing okay. It'll run for a while now, I imagine, I hope. If Lady Sheelab or Belial, before you leave, could give Citatio permission to post their link, that would be wonderful. Thank you. Lady Sheelab's trying to get me to watch Dark. I just need to find the time. It's what. Just based on the brief synopsis she's given me so far, it's definitely up my alley. But finding the time is going to be the tricky part. I may as well call this area while I'm here. Because I'm certainly going to want all of this coal. Oops, that was not quite right. So clean this up a little bit. I have no idea how long I'm going to be playing this save for. I kind of want to play it for a long time, though. Like, I see no particular reason to stop. Thank you, Lady Sheelab. Okay, I want to get in there. This is an absolute must. We're going to want a steel gas pump. It doesn't need to be a large room. It really doesn't. Something like that. And we do want it to be insulated effectively. The heat will be pulled out by the gas. We would want a Atmos sensor feeding in. And we would want insulated gas pipes coming out. we would want... we could set up a mechanical gas filter around here. The other thing you can do, and it's fairly cheap to do as well, actually, is this. This is another way of filtering something. Now, if you don't care about where this is going or what it is, then you can set up a system like this. You have a gas pump, a high-pressure gas pump ideally, because you'll be dealing with much higher volumes of gas. Have something go through it, like that. And you put here, where are we? You want a... Actually, maybe in the ventilation. Gas pipe element center. We want to know what's in the gas pipe. Pop that there. Now, we want this set to natural gas. But we don't want to feed that signal to the gas vent. Because that would open the gas vent if it was natural gas, and that's not what we want. What we want is a NOT signal, a NOT gate, right about here. Goes up, goes down. If this is not natural gas, open the vent. Dump whatever it is out, and then close the vent as soon as natural gas is in the system again. It's a very cheap, very simple system. Super easy to set up. Once you've got it, you're sorted. Now, the reason why I like this system in particular is because, unlike the mechanical gas vents that I showed you before, which don't require power, this doesn't require power either. But it also doesn't feel cheeky. It also isn't a case of me abusing game mechanics. Because, again, the whole reason why I don't do the water, like the really simple water locks, is because it's an abuse of game mechanics, in my opinion. And I know that's a controversial statement, and I appreciate it, and I'm not calling anyone out by saying it. If you want to play with those mechanics, you by all means, it's a single-player game. You do you. If it makes you happy, then do it. It doesn't affect anyone else. But I prefer to find more, well, to be perfectly honest, more over-engineered solutions to these problems. I'll cancel that one there just so that they don't burrow all the way through. And we'll do something like this, I'm thinking. Actually, you know what? Go ahead and go all the way down. But yeah, so I prefer to have a system like that, where it is a bit more over-engineered. But as a consequence of that over-engineering, it feels less cheesy. Feels less like I'm manipulating a failing in the game code, or overwhelming some sort of mechanic that wasn't really intended to function like that. Which is why I do it along these ways. Heyo, touch me, Sido. How you doing, mate? Quietly waiting in the corner until the day we get another side stream. I mean, I wasn't necessarily going to stream it. I was thinking of doing a first taste on my main channel, actually. So, if there's a desire to see it, you know, played out to its fullness, because I probably wouldn't end up playing it all the way through as a first taste. Yeah, I could definitely have a look at that. If there's an interest in it, it's pretty much always the litmus test is if there are people who would want to watch it. I'm generally happy to do it. Tunk. Oh, I am stripping away a little bit too much there. I don't want to get rid of this abyssalite. Thank you. No, stop. Balls. You've damaged the abyssalite. You may as well get rid of it now. Have you actually played much other side, K-Flare 9? I'm through just in case I missed your sub. I'm fairly certain I didn't. I'm fairly certain I commented on the fact that it was second month, best month. But you know what? When in doubt, it cost me nothing to say thank you again. So thank you, possibly for the second time. Well, I can certainly add it to the rotation of games. Well, really. This is why I worry when I give you large dig commands. Could someone please build that ladder as a massive priority? Other side is, Well, to call it an XCOM-like is a massive oversimplification. It's what you'd get if you took XCOM and added roguelike elements to it. But not roguelike, specifically roguelike. Not... in the idea... Oh, well... You know what? Dial that back. Roguelite is what I meant to say, not roguelike. Specifically roguelite elements. So you're thinking of things like Rogue Legacy, where there's like a meta progression. The idea is it's a multiple of runs, and you're going to lose people. If you've played Massive Chalice, it's got a lot in common with Massive Chalice. A lot in common with Massive Chalice. There's a lot more of a sort of a not necessarily noir. Honestly, it does have noir elements to it. Now I'm talking about the actual like atmosphere of the game, but a bit more eldritch, a bit more plays in occult mythologies. It's really nice. Really, really nice game. I was very fortunate enough to check it out just prior to its release. I have been planning to get a first taste of that up on the channel for a little bit. Again, time is the biggest limiter for me. Almost always. But yeah, honestly, it's the sort of game that I'm not surprised that people are saying, well, it looks like right up your alley. It's like, yeah, kind of is, honestly. It's definitely in the kind of cluster of game genres that are especially Aavakian. Alright, let's get this all cleared up. We're almost done with hooking this area up now. Let's go ahead and pop down a pump. It may need to be capable of handling very, very high temperatures. So let's just plan for that. We want copper straight across there. Then we want piping, and sure, we'll have ceramic, at least up and out. Now, did that all... Yes, good. It did all decide to use ceramic for that. Good, good, good. It's going to be a little while before we get more, unfortunately, but... Oh. I will have this pipe run down and branch off at each location, so that it'll share out the hot CO2 that I'm going to be pumping in. Now, as for you, if it's above 100 kilos at the top. Actually, you know what? I could even say 50 kilos, because if it's above 50 kilos on the second level, then I know there's loads of it beneath it. So I'm just checking if there's any liquid there, but liquid in a significant enough amount that it's not just a droplet of liquid that just happened to pass by. Right. Let's go ahead and get more shipping rails. So there we go. This whole system, once it's powered, will hopefully work fairly well at keeping the slicksters set. How are we doing for ceramic now? This should be running. Okay, well, there is clay available. So that's the main thing. It's all over the place. The more deodorizers we have, the more clay we're going to produce. Honestly, having deodorizers here is a source of our clay. This off-gases and generates, and the same down here. Anything that off-gases generates clay for us, in effect. Because the polluted oxygen gets absorbed with whatever filtration medium we use. In this case, probably sand, but could easily be regolith. I mean, we're in Oasis. We've got sand for years. But that then gets processed and produced into clay. It absorbs the polluted oxygen. I think it actually cleans it. It might just suck it up, but I think it actually cleans it. And then it produces the clay after a little while. So all's well. But I wouldn't mind. We're out of ceramic now, but that's fine. Igneous rock will do. Getting the ceramic, it is a luxury. It's a huge luxury that we don't need. Talking about polluted oxygen, we could easily sanitize the oxygen around here. There we go. We'll let that be built and then run it across. Perhaps I should set up more clay to be made than is being stored in here. You know what? That's... I'd like as much ceramic as I can hold. Refined carbon I don't need as much of, but ceramic I'm starting to use in very large quantities, so I'm just going to tell you, you know, unless you've literally filled an entire storage with ceramic, keep making it. How's power? Power's okay. Only 2 of the engines should be active right now, which are... Oh, I can't actually see them. There we go. Number 1, which is the hydrogen generators. Number 2, which is the natural gas generators. On that note, I do need to move the hydrogen across. Realistically. For now, it's fairly easy for me to do. So I might as well. Something like that. And then it'll split in either direction. I want this broken down, please. If you can do it quickly, then we avoid any shenanigans, and then I can break this one down from down there. We're very slowly getting things sorted out in the base, but it's taken me a lot longer than I would have liked. But again, one of the things I do like about this run is that we've hit snags, and instead of reloading, we've just barreled through it. We've worked out solutions rather than... Like, no, everything's ruined. Start again. Because I'm not gonna lie, I used to be like that when I play games, and then I just kind of started applying the same advice, because I can hear myself when I give advice to people, and I used to give quite a lot of advice in regards to art, and it's like, don't throw your canvas away because you made a mistake. Yeah, it's a mistake. It might not be what you thought it was going to be. And you might look at this now and think, no, this couldn't possibly be the painting I wanted to make. But it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be a bad painting. You don't know until you finished it. That accident might sincerely lead to a better picture than you had before. You might be really happy that you made that accident, that mistake happened. Because it might inspire you to make something better than you were going to do anyway. You know, there have been plenty of times when I've been drawing, and halfway through I'm like, this is really not going right. It looks awful, and I've really been tempted to stop. And I've gotten into the habit now of when I sense that, it's like, no, I'm gonna finish this. And 9 times out of 10, or maybe just 8 times out of 10, I'm really happy with the end result when I work through it. Probably only 50% of the time does it end up actually being the painting I meant to make, but it's almost always something that I'm proud of. I've never played Oni, but I see all that carbon dioxide and I want to clean it. No, the carbon dioxide is wonderful. It is food for my slicksters. They must eat. Why has that not been kicked out? How hot? Oh, right, it's because it's 267 degrees. Fair enough. Every time it dips through this, it warms it up just that little bit. Glorious. It has been in there for hours. It's just circling around. It's like the little bit of igneous rock that could. It's like, I'm gonna heat this up. I'm gonna heat it. It's not gonna win. I'm gonna warm its heart before it chills mine. It will learn to love me. Okay. That's going to release a lot of polluted oxygen, unfortunately, but, you know, there's a thing. And little by little, I could just replace a lot of this, but I'm good for now. However, what I would very much like to do is get a decent amount of this. And then once we've got a little bit more, I'll run that out as well. This will be our CO2 input. Now, because these are high pressure gas vents, they'll just keep accepting. They'll keep pumping this stuff in until there is much higher pressure in here. I think it caps out at something like 25 kilos, whereas a regular gas vent caps out at like something like 5, I think. So it's about 5 times more higher pressure in general. We're going to lose a little bit of the oil out this side, but that's fine. Okay. But yeah, I've been surprised how much I've enjoyed playing on this much higher difficulty. Because I'll be honest, I really did feel a little bit like chat trolled me when they got me to play on this difficulty, on this particular type of map. I was like, yeah, I'm not good at the game. I'll play on this one. Oh, okay, yeah, no, I can see where it is in the difficulty rating. I'm not dumb. I know what you're up to, chat, you scallywags, but fine, whatever. But I've actually really enjoyed it. Trial by fire a bit, but at the same time, it's given me a reason to play with systems I wouldn't have played with otherwise. We've tamed our first volcanoes. We have had to deal with heat in a way I've not dealt with heat before. I've had to stop, just because it was everywhere, I had to stop thinking of heat as an enemy. And once I stopped thinking of heat as an enemy, I started thinking of it as a resource. And once I started thinking of heat as a resource, we had things like the various generator setups that I've got and the industrial sauna. And it's very similar to a problem I find with some strategy game players, because I used to play not competitive, like not like you know, for prize money or anything like that. But I used to play it it used to be my go-to game. I used to play it a lot in a more competitive environment, let's say, you know. But it was still very much amateurish. But one of the big problems I used to find people would have is the sort of disconnect in their brains with ocean. They could be amazing players on the ocean. They could be amazing players on land. But if you expected them to play in a theater across the two theaters of war simultaneously, it was like their brain saw water as different than land. I mean, obviously it is, but within the context of it being a theater of war in this strategy game, it's not. It's just a different type of place with different types of units. And the biggest bit of advice that I used to give people is stop thinking of there being a border between land and the ocean. Stop thinking of the shoreline as a wall you have to climb. It isn't. It's a line in the sand and you just cross it. It's that simple. And the moment they stopped thinking of them as basically two different games, started flowing a lot better. Transitioned very seamlessly from land warfare to naval warfare. But I saw so many players with that problem that they just treated water and land inherently differently. And again, you know, they are obviously different theaters of war. But I mean, they seemed to either be in land mode or they were in water mode. They could never be in both. Once the battle is done, you're going to head out. Okay, Ulthor. How long is there left on the battle now? Could someone do a exclamation mark battle in chat, please? Work is coming along down here. We still need to get these ladders made, but once they're all made, we can get up there and start replacing the metal tiles. And little by little, we will get this area sorted out. 2 minutes. Okay, not long at all to go. Aavak, how goes Thermodynamic Simulator? It goes remarkably well. Remarkably well. Sorry for the rampant zooming there. It seems whether I zoom with my mouse in the game window or off it, it still counts. Right. As for down here, what do we want to do with this? How are we going to set this up? I want a couple of steam generators above. That much is a given. Steam turbines. And I would like to give them some room. If I can give them 3... well, 3 tiles is better than 2. It really is. 2 tiles is enough, though. But I kind of feel that 3 is better. But it is enough. I can work with just 2. I can. Don't? No? Okay, fair enough. Have I not got enough? No, I don't have enough ceramic. Okay, we'll wait then. Yeah, 3 gives room for the gas to circulate. 2 is... yeah, I kind of have this feeling that 2 is a little bit too low. I wish it weren't, but I really do feel that 3 is going to be functionally superior in almost every way. So we'll go with 3. I will need thermal hysteresis. Doesn't need to be made of steel, so one there, one there. We are going to want an AND block, and I know, we've got, a memory toggle. We have got a battle ready, and we will get to that in just a moment. Thunk. And we will have thunk, thunk, and then all the way across. There we go. Now this is going to be a passive system. Water will be brought in, but it's not going to be cooled with a thermo aqua tuner. So I am going to need cooling from elsewhere. Honestly, I could do that with just a little bit of cooling in here. Or any number of other places. We're quite far from the main grid. I would have to run an energy, a high capacity energy cable very far to hook it up. Maybe. See, the thing is if I create active cooling over here, so I'm gonna have to run power down anyway for the vent. But if I created active cooling over here, I may as well just have the active cooling cool down the vent as well. In fact, I may as well just have the active cooling cool down this entire room. So this almost becomes pointless. All right, but let's go over to Stream Raiders because I know there's a couple of you waiting on that one. Let's go and check it out.